Hi guys, Mark here for KetoKitchenCollection.com, and today's question is from Maria from Queensland, Australia. Same location as me. Thank you very much, Maria. Her question is, what advice do you wish you had before you started your ketogenic diet? So for me, there's probably three main things that would have been very helpful for me in the beginning. First of all is to keep the meals simple. Keep the food you eat simple and basic, so it's a no-brainer. You won't be tempted to cheat because you know what you're going to eat. It's easy to get, easy to access, or easy to prepare. So for me, I'm very busy, much like you guys. You want to be in and out of the kitchen as fast as possible, unless you're the type of person that really enjoys cooking and preparing the meals, and then you'll probably be quite happy making some extravagant, different, exotic keto meals. But for most of us, we don't always have the time for that, and that was especially true for me. So basically, what I would rely on to keep it super simple is tinned tuna occasionally. These are just some examples. I would literally drink macadamia or coconut oil just in little 15 ml shots. This is a medicine cup, and it's got a 15 ml marking on it. I just drink that. Sometimes I'd get natural peanut butter. The only ingredient in this is peanuts. Completely natural peanut butter. This is crunchy. I'd chop up sticks of celery and just dip it in it. Now, peanut butter does have carbs in it. You do have to keep an eye on how many carbs you're taking in on a keto diet, of course. You can't just go nuts on peanut butter, but this is just an example of something I would have occasionally that's quick and easy. You scoop out peanut butter, put it in a little dish or on a plate, and just use the celery to scoop it up and you eat it, and it's quite good. It's perfectly keto fine, just don't go overboard on the peanut butter. I'd eat cheese. I'd just cut off a piece of cheese. It was so simple and easy, and that's perfectly fine keto food. So things like that. You make a green salad, you can get those pre-mixed from the grocery store or supermarket, and you just open it up, you cut some cheese up and put it on it, and you're good to go. It doesn't require really any cooking. The food preparation is super easy and super simple. And I would find that because I'm quite busy, probably much like you guys, and because I don't super thoroughly enjoy cooking and being in the kitchen, if I found that I had to cook a meal and it was going to take me 15, 20, 30 minutes, something like that, sure, it's not a lot of time, but it would be harder for me to get up the motivation to do it when I've got something simple that I can go to like this. Now, this works for me. You'll just have to explore all the different keto foods. If you go to my website, KetoKitchenCollection.com, you will find a keto superfoods download that you can get for free, and that'll give you a whole range of different keto-related foods that you can, just the foods themselves, not specific. There's recipes available, but that download will have the just foods that you can see that are good for you to have, and you can just go through the list and go, okay, well, I can access these really easily. I can get them from the supermarket easily. I can just store them in the cupboard and eat them and keep it really simple. If it's too complex, guys, there's less likelihood that you're going to stay on the diet, and it's really that simple. So keep your meals simple, keep your food simple. You're much more likely to see success. The next thing I wish someone had told me before I started, and this kind of follows on from the last point, is to pre-prepare as many meals as possible. So, for example, I would have some green leafy salad. Typically, I'd go with lettuce, cabbage, and baby spinach, and just chop it up. You can get it pre-cut, this sort of thing, from, again, your grocery store or supermarket. I typically buy it all, cut it up, put it into sealable containers, and grate cheese over it. Sometimes I'd even just spend 5 minutes cooking up some diced bacon, and I'd put diced bacon over it. And that's a perfectly good keto meal. That's a fantastic keto meal, and the bacon makes it super delicious. And I'd store those in the fridge, and I might have, 10 of them for the next few days. And you don't want to store them for too long, but, you keep it for 2, 3, 4 days, and that's fine. That's easy. If you're hungry, you don't feel like cooking, you just want something to eat after a hard day, and you don't have a lot of time, you can open the fridge, grab one of those, and just go. I would eat it cold. It doesn't matter if the diced bacon's cold, it's still got the same great flavour. And for me, that was fine. You could cook that if you really don't want your bacon cold, and that does sound like something that would be good for you. Put the bacon separately. Just get a little container, scoop a little bit of the bacon out, put it in the microwave, heat it up, stick it on top of the salad and cheese that you brought out. So it doesn't have to be difficult. You might have to put in a little bit of forethought, spend a little bit of time on a weekend or in an evening, whenever, preparing these meals, because if you're hungry and you're in a rush and you don't have anything, you don't have the time to prepare something, you are more likely to cheat and fail on your diet. Keep yourself pre-prepared with pre-prepared meals ready to go, and you're much more likely to succeed on any diet, not just the keto diet, but any diet. And the last thing that I wish someone had told me, and this is perhaps ultimately what was the biggest challenge for me, and that was simply to eat more food. When I went on my keto diet, one of the things with ketosis is that it will dent your hunger, and for me that it was significant. I'd get to the end of the day, I'd be under 1,000 calories, which is, typically what the average male needs is, anywhere from 2,200 to 2,500 calories in a day. I was struggling to get to 1,000, and I knew I had to eat more, and I essentially had to force feed myself. And you might be thinking, well, if you're not eating much, isn't that good? You're gonna lose more weight. Well, not necessarily. I have done a video on that, on how losing too much weight too quickly can be detrimental to your health. You can check that out on the channel here. But for me, eventually, after 3 or 4 weeks, I started getting this really bad lethargy. And my calories were probably only about 1,300, 1,400 a day at that point. And it just simply wasn't enough. I got this just crippling lethargy. My motivation was gone. My mood was sort of depressed, and I was having trouble working and focusing. And I went through a whole bunch of different videos and articles all over the internet and YouTube, trying to figure out what was going on. What's the problem with me? Why am I not... at first I was feeling fantastic and I had extra energy and motivation and I'm feeling great. And, you get a whole bunch of people saying, oh, well, you're just missing out on this vitamin or that mineral, and if you just supplement with this, or just add in some extra of this food because it's rich in this vitamin. And I was doing all those things. It wasn't helping. Ultimately, I thought to myself, well, if I feel lethargic through the day when I'm not on a keto diet, what's the problem? Typically, I haven't eaten in a while. So I simply ate more food on the keto diet, and that just meant an extra big plate of bacon and eggs for me, which is great. And be the same for you. You're on a keto diet, bacon and eggs is perfectly good keto food, as long as you're not overdoing the saturated fat. And I felt better. I ate more. My metabolism started to crank up again. And, I got my motivation back to a degree. The lethargy, for the most part, went away. And that was basically the solution to the problem. What I shouldn't have done was go so low on the calories, or at first it was hard just to get the food in because I simply didn't feel hungry and I didn't think about eating. But I should have structured it such that I know I've got these specific meal times, I know I have to eat something, and to maybe even eat a little more than I felt like, or that perhaps I had really planned for that particular meal, just to make sure I got in enough calories through the day. If you go too low and your metabolism drops right down, you're going to really be behind the 8 ball. If anything, feel free to... Excuse the cockatoo. Hopefully he doesn't stay there for too long. Might have to edit that bit out. It's better to overeat in the beginning rather than undereat. Because if you undereat and you're behind the 8 ball and you're trying to catch up, sometimes your metabolism just won't... Sorry about that again. Sometimes your metabolism simply won't catch up. I think there's going to be some editing to do. So if your metabolism's firing hard because you're eating a lot of food, and you just see how much food you're eating over a number of weeks. If your weight's not dropping, but you'll be in ketosis, but if your weight's not dropping, just drop the amount of food, X amount. If you're tracking your calories, that's easy to check and measure. If you're not tracking your calories, that's fine. Just eat smaller portions throughout the day. If you're already eating 2 smaller portions and you're having to increase your portions, I found personally, it can be a little bit more difficult to get yourself back to being normal. So that's just my experience. those are the three main things I wish people had told me. So keep the meals super simple, pre-prepare as much food and meals as possible. Those things will help you no end on sticking to your diet and seeing success, and simply don't eat too little. And those are the three main things that I would tell you guys to do when you start your keto diet, or even if you're on your second or third or fourth attempt or cycle through a keto diet. So what's worked for you guys, or what hasn't worked for you guys? Let us know what you would have liked to have known the first time you tried your first keto diet. I think we'd all be interested to hear your point of view. So thank you very much for watching the video through. I do appreciate you guys and the time you've given me today. If you have any questions, there's a link below where you can fire your questions off to me directly. That's via a form on the website. And yeah, thank you very much again. My name's Mark from KetoKitchenCollection.com, and I'll see you guys on the next one.